Hey folks, Custom Designs here in this part 1 of the Tamiya 135th scale M4A4 tank build. Now yet again you're thinking, hey, Tamiya never came out with that variant, and yep, you're correct. Yet again we're taking a model and making it something that no company released. But this one's a bit trickier than most. We're really doing some scratch building on this one, and omitting and adding parts. Out of all my conversions, this one so far has been proven to be the most tricky and most elusive project that I've undertaken as far as the Sherman tanks go. And what I mean is, I'm working off this model right here, and it says early production, and even though it says early production, there's a lot of parts that aren't so early production on this kit. And then I'm also working off I got a few pictures on the screen here, and there's very few pictures of the variant that I'm working with. There are a few pictures of the M4A4, but the one I'm trying to mimic, there's very few pictures. So we're going to get into that today and just show you what work we've done. Now, obviously, that's the one I'm trying to duplicate. I do have a number for the tank as far as the ID number goes. I don't have it with me right now. It's on a separate piece of paper, but I tried to look up that number, and this is the image it gives me. So I'm working off of pretty much this image of the tank. So it helps, and yet it doesn't help. So, but at least it gives me enough to go off of as far as what I need to add on to the tank, because I really wanted to build one that has the side skirt right here as well as the applique armor. And a lot of the tanks that as far as the M4A4 goes does not have this side piece on, as well as some of the applique armor like here, and here. But I really wanted to add that on. So anyway, long story short, this is what I wanted to go with, and that's pretty much what I've added on to my model so far. However, another hard part was right here. So far online, I haven't been able to find any aftermarket sets or anything, especially with this piece right here. So I've done my best to make my own, and I did that out of styrene and made my own mold. It's pretty good, especially once we get paint and everything on it and whatnot. But we'll get back to that in a second. But just getting back to that first image here. Let's see if I can get the first image here. Now, with this box, you get this part right here. I'm not too sure what that's called. I think it was in some books I've seen something like a sun, not a sundial, but some kind of something to do with sun. Anyway, I had to omit that, and that's the first thing I did was I omitted that, filled that in with the putty, and then I found another piece, took right there, as you can see, that aiming piece, and then I had to do a little bit of scratch building. So I've mimicked that, and then this piece right here for holding the machine gun barrel for the 50 cal. I got that in there. It's there. It's just they have the turret kind of like flipped around a bit, so that's all there. They do have a spotlight there. I just haven't installed it yet. I got the applique armor in there, so the turret's pretty much going to be good to go, right? So I'm happy with that so far. Some turrets had either the pistol port completely omitted or welded, and also some had them. So I think I'm going to be good to go with that. As well as another important thing was the horn. I actually had from extra kits, I actually had the correct, I think I got that from Stewart. So I have the correct horn and the placement of the horn. So that goes right there. So that's good. I got the applique armor in the correct spots. And then of course the, I'm going to just call it the side skirt. I'm pretty, right there. Now right here. I made that out of styrene, made my own mold and extra photo etch parts. And then I'll go to that other image here on the screen right there. I also have the other kit. Now, of course, I have two or three of these early production Shermans. I say early production. Now, that's the original kit part right there. And then that's what you have to do to make it a little more correct. So I actually had to completely shave off all those bits and cut out that. And then I got, I had extra photo etch pieces and such, you know, made my own screen out of the photo etch. You know, it looks a little, you know, gross right now, but I, you know, promise you, once we get all the paint and everything on there and weathering and whatnot, it's going to look pretty good. I made my own mold, which I destroyed in the process of making, you know, this piece right here, just so I can make that piece right there, which I think turned out fairly well. And then of course I had extra photo etched pieces. To, you know, resemble the cap. So at least I got that as accurate as I, you know, can with, you know, the materials I have afforded to me right now. So at least it's, you know, more accurate. And then once we get the turret and everything on there, it all weathered up, it's going to look fairly decent, I think. And it's going to be a little more accurate towards the M4A4. So out of all the Sherman projects so far, this one has been the most, you know, tricky, I guess you could say, as far as getting it, you know, more accurate. And then why I have putty right here and here, and that was just more for a fitting issue. There's such a sizable gap right there. So I thought it best I add some putty there. That's the only reason why there's putty there. But that's the long and short of this anyway. Trying to get this you know, more accurate. But once I get this all, you know, primed and painted, I think it's going to look fairly decent actually. It looks a little silly right now, but that was my first go at you know, making my own parts anyway. As far as, you know, I've made my own parts before, but not, you know, that big of a part. I mean, that's a pretty big part. And then of course making that that screen, I mean, that's pretty big. But there we go. That's part one of this one anyway. As you could probably tell right now, I really like my Sherman tanks, and I really want to keep the Sherman tank builds going, because I got so many of these tanks that I want to get built and completed and out there. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to comments on this one. So thanks so much. Bye.